Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So let's use my fun and fabulous technique of mushing and lifting. I call it mushing and lifting watercolor to create this wonderful poinsettia. Super easy and simple. Any beginner can do this. If you can just do some simple shapes, leaf shapes, and then we go in to use that technique where I kind of mush the paint around, etc., etc. I have something similar with the smaller cards. Now we're on a larger scale. This is like a 9x12. So you have more control, I think, than a smaller one. And then you just have to really be careful how you mush the red next to a green paint. It's a little tricky, but so doable. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you're a Patreon, you get the extended version. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box. You can join and cancel anytime. You get extended videos, extra, exclusive on Thursdays, live stream on the top tier, and first dibs on watercolor workshops and retreats. So it's just a place people go and support my channel, which I really appreciate. But anyway, let's get started painting this wonderful poinsettia and having some fun. All right, let's go over some supplies I'm using. I'm using a nice 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is a block that I have from Boahong. This is the company. But you don't have to have a block. You can have just like arch paper or whatever, taped down or something like that. I'll be using my Princeton Neptune Series 12. My 8 long round velvet touch series, and that's it. So it's a little technique that I like to do that you've seen me do several times here on YouTube and Patreon, whatever, where I put color down and remove it. But this technique, really you have to kind of know when to the time to do it, right? So I'm taking some of this lovely color here. It's one of my new favorite reds, a really great Christmas red from Holbein, Pyrrole Rubin W206, and I'm mixing with cadmium red light, so I get a super red. And you want a fair amount of this pigment because it's going to really soak in. You want a really good amount, see? And the consistency, fairly thick, but you want to be able to move it like a creamy consistency. I'm also going to mix up at the same time some greens. Cleaning up my brush, grab my cadmium yellow deep, and I'm putting it twice. I'm just going to grab some lovely Prussian blue to make a nice light green, and a little bit more of this color, activate it, make a deeper green. Now you can add a little burnt umber in here just to tone down that green. Activate this color a little more. I really should have loosened it up a little bit more. I'll put some new one down there. There we go. So this will be a deeper green. I'll get some brown in there. And add some more blue. I want a nice deep dark green. And a tad bit more of the yellow again. So you keep mixing till you get a nice deep green. There we go. Okay. So, no need to draw the poinsettia shape. Just picture the leaves. It's like a curve and another curve and you're filling it in. So here we go. And just move it around the paper. I'm going to use some more of this color. Tad bit more water. So, see, I'm carving it, filling it in. I'm going to need actually some more water to fill this in. It really, just particular paper really, really soaks up the paint. So just making these lovely shapes. See, just kind of pointy at the end for the poinsettia. Really kind of simple petals. I know you guys can do it. I'm going to put a little one in here. Again, I'm going to need more paint because this particular paper is really thirsty. He's a very thirsty guy. Just really saturated that paper. I'll do another big one here. See, this paper is super saturated, so I'm really going to add some more water this time. I got to get this paint really activated. And I'll kind of fill this in. Now, every time you do this, it won't look the same. It's kind of fun to play with. I like to do things in threes, so I'll put like a little one here, kind of falling off the page. Again, I'm activating this red. It's really kind of activated. It's really thick in there. Just getting that pointy little petal. And you can fill it in completely or not. You know, it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to take our lovely dark green. I'm going to mix up some more color. I might have to grab some more Prussian blue, but again, because this paper is so thirsty, if I can find my Prussian blue, here we go. So it's really thirsty. I had to grab some more Prussian blue and really thick. Add some nice water to it. Grab a little bit of this yellow and some of the brown. More blue. More blue. Really deep. Dark green. Okay, we can make a simple leaf here. You can make yours a little bit more bluer. It's pretty black. Grab a little more yellow. There we go. Brighten it up a little bit. Again, so look how thick and saturated that paint is. Put another leaf here. Gonna have some leaf coming out this way. Now I've done this technique several times already, and each time it's different. Right? Simple leaves. And we're gonna grab the light color green. Grab a little bit of color here. Similar. You can do some little lines like this. You know, like nice evergreen lines. Like that. Kind of coming down here. Out this way. There's a rhyme and reason to make madness. So simple, like little shapes of greenery that I have a tutorial on greenery. If you don't know how to paint it, it's pretty easy, but really you can see me just putting a line and then adding little lines here. And then I'm going to take my Princeton 8 long round and grab some umber. Loosen that up. Do like a little twig. Like a little branch kind of here. And maybe I'll have one coming up this way. Up here. Like so. Okay. So now that that's kind of saturated in there a little bit, we're going to take a flat wash brush. Whatever one that you have. It doesn't have to be anything special. I have like a simple craft brush. Keep your paper towels close by your hand here. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit so you can see better. And I'm dipping my brush into the water and just taking the water itself. Now you just want to move the red paint for now, not the green. See, I'm just moving the red paint and lifting it up with the paper towel. Moving the red. Maybe I could have waited the green paint to paint later, but I'm just going to move the red. I'm going to mush it. Mush it and kind of erase it at the same time. So I'll grab some more water. See, I'm mushing that. I'm mushing the color. I know, it kind of looks messy right now. Don't worry, it will come together soon. And I'm tapping back on my paper towel, you see? So I'm removing the paint that we put down. It's kind of this erasing technique. Going back and grabbing some water. Removing the paint. So if you put it in with the green too early, it will turn to brown. It's kind of mushing the color. Now we have kind of something similar on the smaller cards that I did recently on YouTube. So look for that tutorial where you kind of just don't want to be hitting that green just yet. Just hitting the red part. Good. Just mushing the red. I might grab another paper towel. See, I'm grabbing this. You can go in here and kind of mush it a little bit with the paper towel. Don't use too much of it because paper towel removes a lot of color. See, lifting and then putting it back on the paper towel. Now I'm mushing that green. And we can mush the green here. Don't mush it in the red too much. So it's just going back and forth, kind of mushing the greens. lift, tapping back on the paper towel. Has a really kind of cool technique with this. Going back in that saturated color and lifting it. Go in here and like lift it, move it like that. Pushing it outward, tapping back on the paper towel. And you can always like do like this as a texture too. Like lift up all that color, and you can just see that line that's saturated in with the red. And kind of mush this a little bit more. Add the green, mushing the green now. You have to take your time with this once you put it down and then mush it, because you don't want to turn it to brown everywhere. Now I'm going to mush the green. Again, lifting and mushing at the same time. Every time you do this, it comes out totally different. That's why I like it. It's unexpected. And I'm using a lot of water right there. Depends on how much water you use too when you're mushing it down and lifting it back up. See? And go in here and just go like that. Paper towel. Every time it's different. It has that lovely like atmospheric kind of look. Okay, I'm mushing this. I can go and add color too. Paper towel is your friend. Holding it. Now I'm going to go down here and move that green. It's a little darker than I normally would put in that green, but it will work. And kind of remove. Look at that. And then mushing this other green and the brown. I can kind of grab some of the green too that I have over here on the side. So it's the same premise that we did with the tiny cards, only we're painting simple poinsettias, the leaves, and then I always have this towel close by me. So it's like mushing it and lifting the color and tapping back on the paper towel. So you can mush this, you can kind of tap it, you can mush that green. See, I just kind of like went like this and erased it, and boom, boom, tap. I don't tend to use the paper towel so much on the paper, just kind of hold it in my hand. Sometimes I will. I don't want to remove too much of the paint. I want to keep it there. Kind of move that red. See? Push it around. Show 'em who's boss. This is such a fun technique. What I did mention is that if you have some gold paint, you can play with that. Now I'm going back up here, and I'm going to grab some of this light green and kind of just mush this all up here. I'm grabbing some water. Now it might be a little too brown, but I'll lift some of that up. And the red, I can go back in here. Don't rough the paper too much because it will start to pill up. You can go back in here and move some of the saturated color or keep it. It depends on what you want to do. See, I'm playing around with that. Now I didn't leave as much white space as I had in the other ones I did, but like I said, every time is different. Kind of playing, twisting my brush, moving that paint that I had in that leaf. Gonna grab some bright yellow. Put some of that green in here. You can remove some color and put some back in. I'm just tippy tapping with my lovely paper towel. Already it's kind of like this beautiful atmospheric looking poinsettia. I just love this technique. It's one of my favorites. Basically it's lifting, but you're really kind of mushing it. You're not just lifting a separate area, kind of mushing the paint and then going in and kind of drawing by lifting the paint. It just has a really cool look. See, I'm being strategic on where I'm lifting now. Going back over here, getting some water on this, and I'm just going back and tapping. on my paper towel, lifting that color back there. I can kind of move the paint still too. I don't know where this came from. There we go. Already looking great. If I want to mush a little bit more here, get some more white paper happening. I left this kind of saturated. I kind of like that. Left a little white there. If I want to go in, I could kind of play with it a little bit. Just kind of mush it a little bit. Really loving how this all looks. And then what we're going to do is let it dry. And then we can go back in and add some finer details. This really didn't take much time. You're just painting those wonderful, simple shapes, and then you're going in and you're kind of playing by mushing it and removing it by lifting it. See, I'm lifting. You can't do this all day because you'll ruin the paper. But a couple passes. And every single time it's going to come out different. It's more exciting than the last, right? You can use a paper towel here and there. So paper towel is your friend. I didn't mention that as a tool as part of the supplies, but obviously you can see that when I'm using here, right? Okay, I think at this point I'm good. I can let it dry. If I wanted to add some more wonderful bright green, chartreuse green, I might play around with that in some areas. Just kind of just wisp some green in there. Let it saturate for a minute and then move some of it. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then when that's dry, we're going to go back over it and put a layer of color, but just simple shapes again. This is the fun part though. I love this part. All right, we'll let this dry on its own and then come back. Now that it's dry, you can go back in and you can do some more layering. So we've got that lovely red again. You can do a layering of glazing by adding another petal, like, oops. I don't know how that color got a little bit dirty. So the consistency would be more of the tea, coffee kind of consistency. And you can add another layer of the petals. Because you know poinsettias have those many layers to go on top. Play around with where this is going to go. And see how some of that pigment really stayed there? That's how saturated it was. And add another one here. Not necessary, but I like to add another layer. You can add another layer here. Put another one here. So we have a combination of like really serious petals and some really atmospheric ones. So it's a nice little layering kind of situation going on here. Or you don't have to do it at all. Also, you can take your number 8 long round. Get a little bit of this, I call this color, I love this pyrorubin. And you can add some veins. Line like that. And some of these, don't do it on every single petal. You make it look cray. But just the ones that are really faint. Be nice to have that on some of these. Just a line. The ones in the back. The ones that are really faint. Right? And we can put some, go back and have the branch kind of going back over here. And I was going to add some berries. Here's that nice little branch up here. Go back and fill that in. And you can take your reds and just do some circular berries. So there's those two colors I like to mix. Now, they can be a little more translucent. I have saturated ones and not so saturated ones. And you could do the same technique again, just don't go crazy once you put the berries in. You know, I think it's fine not to even bother with it, because maybe you wanted like a little atmospheric looking berries. Cluster them. Don't have like one or two. I want them clustered. I always leave a little white. And of course up top, just really quickly making a circle. This is number 8 long round. Put some sporadic ones. Bunch them up. Maybe that looks like too many soldier berries. You want to space them out a little more. Like so. Boop. Add the darker color on the bottom. I'm going to grab the pyro ribbon by itself. Maybe have a little one's kind of coming down here. And then I'll go back in with the branch color, which is basically burnt umber, maybe a little Paynes gray. Mix in with that and kind of connect the berries into the branch. If you want to add some greenery with that, holly, get really kind of creative. And then to finish off the center of these, I just grabbed a little yellow, mixed with a little brown. Do some like really simple yellow circles, and then we're going to go back in with this one and go, when it dries, put some like black or deep brown around it so it really pulls it forward. Meanwhile, while that's drying, you can go back in and put some of these nice little greens in here. And that's that. You can add some veins to your leaves. It's not necessary. Like I said, I'm going to grab almost like just basically Paynes gray, but I'm going to add some brown to it. And you just go in here and kind of pop what's yellow around it. So I'm just kind of going around and in between. Oops, they're kind of bleeding a little too much because the paint's a little bit wet, but you get the idea. See? Do that a little bit here. And we have our cute little poinsettia. Isn't that cute? So this one will dry. You can go in and add a little bit of veins to that too. Something really simple. Isn't she sweet? So that's it. It was like a simple little thing you can do to add such a great value. And like I said, you could go back in with the brush and kind of mush the berries just a little bit to give them that atmospheric. Don't go nuts. And play around with it. And if you're a Patreon member, I'm going to have an extended version with this. So go check that out. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. Take care and happy painting!